We move from evaporation to try to discover footprint. So, what kind of, we're trying to introduce aquatic pressure into product biodiversity footprint. So, let's hear from Agnes.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to present the work of EDF and IFER and ICARE to integrate aquatic biodiversity into the PBF tool for its use in hydropower project. So EDF Hydro is the main hydropower company in France, operating about 450 power stations with 20 gigawatts of installed capacity. These units are spread all over France in very different environments, and they are of very different sizes and types. Hydro is known as a low carbon renewable energy source by life cycle on the basis of life cycle analysis. But we all know that the GHG emissions are highly variable depending on the context. And furthermore, LCA do not correctly assess the biodiversity footprint. While being a low company, EDF is engaged in reducing its climate footprint by developing an eco-design approach for its new projects or maintenance or refurbishment of its old power plants. And we are trying to integrate biodiversity into this approach. To do this, we are working with ICARE, which is a consultancy agency that has been developing and using biodiversity footprint accounting approaches for a variety of products for over 10 years. In particular, ICARE has developed a tool called PBF, which is based on LCA type approach and has a solid scientific foundation. Okay. This tool has been evaluated and tested by EDF and IFER. Among many others, it has the advantage to be adapted and used for eco-design. However, this tool is mainly based on terrestrial biodiversity, and it needs to introduce aquatic biodiversity. In this approach, the major challenges are to bring together the worlds of LCA and the worlds of ecology, which do not speak the same language at all. And I am an ecologist, not a LCA specialist. The first world assesses the global impact of material and energy fluxes of a product, for example, the kilowatt-hour. And the second one assesses the local or regional impact of an asset, for example, the asset which produces the kilowatt-hour. And the other big challenge is to take account of the very wide variability of the hydropower types and impacts. So how does the PBF works? The PBF considers the 5 main drivers on biodiversity identified by IPBES and the Millennium Ecosystem Assessment. That is the habitat change, the pollution, climate change, overexploitation of species and invasive species. It is based on LCE database and emission factor whenever it is possible. It's the module 1 in the graph. And the standard qualitative analysis grid, if not, it's the module 3. And it is able to capture geographical specificities through LCA when characterization factors are available at local scale, or through ecological literature review to complement LCA, to take into account projects or site specificity. It's module 2. And the principle is to compare a variant product versus a reference on whole life cycle and value chain. The PBF is expressed in PDF. That year, it is a potentially disappeared fraction of species over a year for the LCA world, and the qualitative indicators for the rest. Here, it is shown on the right, the way it is representative for the 5 main driver of the pressure on biodiversity. And each driver is has a sub-indicator, a sub-pressure. For example, for habitat change, we can count the land use or land transformation or water straits via LCA models. Two main pressure that are invasive species and species management are not modelized by LCA and extrapolated via standard qualitative analysis grid. But on all these cases, on all this pressure, there are no freshwater species, nor habitat species, freshwater biodiversity is not included, and we have to include the aquatic biodiversity. So for this, we collaborate with ICARE, and we conducted a literature review to identify the anthropic pressures in general on aquatic biodiversity, the hydropower pressures on whole biodiversity, terrestrial and aquatic, and we looked for available LCA quantification useful for hydropower. And we could find 6 main hydropower plant pressure on aquatic biodiversity, but we could link to the 3 IPBES drivers. It's for the 6 on the right. It's riparian zone degradation, it's fragmentation, flow alteration, water stress, thermal modification, and invasive alien species. And for 3 of these 6 main pressure, we could find 3 that are quantifiable via LCA models. For the other, we had to build a standard analysis grid for all the remaining pressure. So we have to define what were the sub-pressure, the main pressure that were in the categories in each big driver. For example, for riparian zone degradation, we identify that it was due to alluvial plain reduction, dewatered riverbed, transformation from river biodiversity to lake biodiversity. For fragmentation, we consider fish continuity, upstream, downstream, lateral continuity. We consider sediment continuity. For flow alteration, we considered hydropeaking and flood alteration. And for invasive alien species, we consider the introduction of specific list of species that are known to be specified to hydropower. And for each of these sub-indicators, we try to define thresholds, 3 level of impact of level of pressure, high, moderate, low, based on literature review and ecologist expertise. And we did at this stage, we are beginning this work. At this stage, we have defined the threshold only for temperate European rivers. Then each of this pressure are then combined to note, to give a note on the global driver. For an example to understand, For flow alteration, it is broken down into three sub-indicators that are hydropeak at short term, hydropeak long term, and flood alteration. For example, for the hydropeak short term, we are looking at frequency, amplitude, and the effect on stranding, spawning ground erosion or exondation or drift. And for each of these pressure, we define a level based on reference, published reference. Here is an example. For flood, for long-term effect of hydropeak to morphology, we used, we couldn't find in the reference, in the literature, some reference. So we had, we classified the pressure from on the base of expertise advice. It is possible to integrate in correcting factor for good practice or mitigation measure, and all these are defined based on literature review and knowledge. So, in conclusion, there are many biodiversity footprint methods in development for companies, but they are mainly at the organization levels, and it's not really useful for engineers or scientists. And PBF is based on the LCA and on local ecosystem processes, which is quite innovative. And it presents the advantage to allow for eco-conception of project or works or energies, because it allows the comparison of solution on the whole life cycle. And it is possible to integrate aquatic biodiversity combined with LCA. It's still under development, and we are currently testing this approach on the Putez Dam case data. The initial dam on the left was has a large reservoir which flooded a large area of land. He obstructed downstream fish continuity and was suboptimal for sediment transport. And the new dam on the right has removed all these problems. And we hope that the indicator will provide an overall quantified assessment of both GLCA and non-LCA footprints for the old and the new dam. And once the method has been validated, we will be able to incorporate it into our project development plans. Thank you.